Thinking about buying an electric car? Hey, that's fantastic. Honestly, they're amazing. But hold on just a second before you drive that brand new ride off the lot. Because there are 3 specific places you should seriously avoid driving or, honestly, even living with one. Look, getting an EV is great. It really is. But if you aren't prepared for these specific environments, owning that sleek new car transitions instantly from a modern convenience into a total logistical nightmare. You're absolutely going to regret it. So welcome to this explainer. Today we're breaking down the 3 worst types of places for EV owners and why they can be such a massive headache. If you already have an electric car, or if you're planning to get one soon, definitely stick around. This breakdown could save you a ton of stress. Okay, let's dive right into our spatial tour today. We'll be covering, first, charger-poor cities, second, the remote electron deserts, and third, being banned from the garage.
All right, let's hit number 1. Charger-poor cities. Let's kick things off with specific urban areas that just completely drop the ball on public charging infrastructure. When we look at exactly why 3 cities fail EVs right now, a pretty clear ranking emerges. Coming in at number 1 is Louisville, Kentucky. Number 2 is Birmingham, Alabama. And number 3 is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. These 3 specific cities rank among the absolute worst in America, mainly because the local infrastructure just simply hasn't caught up to the number of vehicles on the road.
So what does this actually mean for you as a driver? Well, if you live or travel through Louisville, Birmingham, or Milwaukee and you can't charge at home, you're basically stuck. It's a really harsh reality. You're going to waste a lot of time hunting for stations, waiting in ridiculously long lines, or, just sitting there praying your battery lasts until you finally reach a plug. It's incredibly frustrating and honestly kind of takes all the joy out of driving an EV.
Moving on to number 2, the remote electron deserts.
So what exactly are these massive dead zones? Well, an electron desert is a remote highway stretch with huge charging gaps that can leave electric vehicles entirely stranded. Think about those long, incredibly empty stretches of road you'd find out in the American Southwest, deeply rural parts of America, or even certain routes way up in Northern Europe.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that in these electron deserts, you aren't just driving a few extra miles to find a plug. No way. You can actually face a staggering 150 to 250 miles between fast chargers. I mean, to put that into perspective, that is a massive gap when you're relying entirely on battery power to get you across the map.
And here's where it becomes a total nightmare for an EV driver. When the gap is that huge, your margin for error is effectively 0. One wrong turn, or say a sudden battery drop because of freezing cold weather, or having to expend extra energy climbing some steep hills, and boom, your range plummets. In an instant, an electron desert turns into a scenario where you are just stranded on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, let's zoom in to number 3, banned from the garage. Zooming all the way down to the hyper-local claustrophobic level of multi-story parking garages, we are seeing a drastic shift in the rules. Stemming from a few high-profile battery fires, building management in various places is responding pretty aggressively to safety concerns. This is heavily impacting places like South Korea right now, where EV chargers are being removed entirely or they're being moved strictly to outside areas.
In fact, it's getting to the point where some buildings are putting up strict "No EVs Allowed" signs, completely barring the vehicles from even entering the premises. And the real kicker? Even if they do let your car inside the structure, the chargers are often gone. This means you can neither park practically nor charge your vehicle in the very place you live or work.
So let's get to our final takeaway section.
So, the crucial point is, how do you navigate all of this successfully? Well, whether you're dealing with charger-poor cities, remote charging deserts, or these EV-banned parking garages, you have to be highly strategic. You really need to plan your routes, know your city's infrastructure, and understand the rules of the buildings you frequent. Basically, drive safe, but more importantly, charge smart. Before we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn it over to you. What is the absolute worst place you've ever tried to charge an electric car? Have you hit an electron desert, or maybe been stuck waiting in some endless line in a charger-poor city? Reflect on your own logistical nightmares for a second. Drop a comment, and let's keep this conversation going. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.